A friend of mine in the UK told me about Polyweld and how well it worked with PLA. This is not a glue, that's why they call it a weld. It actually melts the two joining layers together and they become one. And this produces a very strong joint. I made a holder and it holds one of these little dental applicators. I ordered 2 bottles of this at the same time. And when my order showed up, it came with a brush. Actually, it came with 2 brushes and 2 applicators. And I used the brush, and I was putting some parts together, and I went to wipe this off on a paper towel, and that's when I found out that the Polyweld was dissolving this whole stick. And so this brush is not compatible with Polyweld. Based on that, I never tried this applicator, at least not yet. But the applicators I got from my dentist office, they work great. And you soak this little tip on the end of this and you can glue a lot of stuff with that. You want to use this sparingly. Now there was a problem with this. This is sold by a website called Shop for Glue, and they were based out of the UK. Now they're out of Bulgaria, and these were sold in a glass bottle. You didn't have a problem when it was in a glass bottle. Now it's in this plastic of some sort. And when I received my 2 bottles, they were only about this full. And I think I still have a picture of that. Now I know that the reason they were only this full is as this sits in the bottle, the contents start coming through the plastic by osmosis. And what was a legible label over time, as the fumes and that started coming through the plastic, it starts blurring the print. In fact, the print back here on the back, you can hardly read it anymore. When I first got it, I didn't know that was going on, and I thought, well, they just don't fill the bottles completely full. I hadn't used this for quite some time. I came out to the shop one day, and I only had about this much left. And the last time I had used it, it had been up here. So that's when I realized that the contents were going through the plastic of the bottle. When this was in the glass bottle, and they still show that this is in a glass bottle on their website, but when it was in a glass bottle, it wasn't a problem. I transferred what little of this I had left into glass bottles. I haven't lost any out of that glass bottle yet, and that was several months ago. This product and products like it are made out of methylene chloride, trichloroethylene, and methyl methacrylate. When you put a little of this on a surface, it immediately evaporates. So it's a pretty volatile chemical, and not one that I would recommend getting on your skin. Another one of those deals known by the state of California to be carcinogenic. I complained to Shop for Glue about this and never received a response from them. That would lead me to believe they're not a very good company. So I found an alternative. This is Weldon. Actually, this is Weldon 3. And this is 4 fluid ounces, or 118 milliliters. This bottle contains, supposedly, 57 milliliters. This contains a little more than twice what this Polyweld bottle did. When you get this, you take this lid off, it's got a push-in cap that seals this can real tight. I forget how much this is, but it's very competitive to a product that disappears from its packaging. This is available here in the US, and this works really well. I was working on some other stuff, and I had a few pieces of this that were test prints, and this surface is kind of rough. This particular PLA was not cooperating. I was having trouble getting it to stick to the bed of my 3D printer, but I was able to get this to print on a piece of painter's tape, but that leaves a bit of a rough surface. Just lightly sanded that and washed it off to get rid of any glue that was on there. And I put a couple of these together, and I'll show you how that worked. If you're trying to glue two pieces of PLA together with super glue, it'll wick in there and it'll give a pretty good joint, but more times than not, it'll flash and put off a white smoke, and that'll go into the pores of the laminations and it spoils the appearance. If you use this product, you wick that into that joint. It's real thin. It goes in there by capillary action. It does not change the color of the PLA. It may make it a little bit shiny right in the area of application. If I'm going to glue something small, this little applicator works fine. For a larger surface, I use a brush like this. This bottle contains this Weld-On, and I advise you make some sort of a base for this so you don't knock that over. I just brush it on there real quick. All we're doing here, we're dissolving the surface a little bit. Put those together. I put that right on the joint. And that liquid is being drawn into this joint by capillary action. Then I put a clamp on it. When you're done with this, make sure you close that bottle. If you walk away and leave that, it'll be evaporated by the time you get back. Then I dry off the brush or the applicator. What we're doing, we're giving this time to cure. And all that really means is that we're waiting for the volatiles to work the way out and evaporate and leave a good solid joint behind. I glued together a couple of these pieces. This is just some experiments that I was printing. It's PLA. And that's about 1.3 square inches of area. I glued this up about a couple hours ago. It's been sitting out here. Let's see how it holds together. There's your answer. It holds together pretty well. Try another one. I'm putting a lot of force on this. It is the print that has failed in both cases. The joint held tight. Weld-On number 3. This gives you an extremely strong joint, and I highly recommend it for PLA. It also works for PETG. I used it to put my mailbox spinner together.